Welcome to the John Show with your hosts, John Doogie Clouser.
All right. What's going on, everyone? How are you? We are here on a new episode of the Juan Solo Show. This is episode 180 of this great thing. Welcome. What's up? How are you? Wow, this is weird. So I'm using a different device this week to record my podcast. And so it's a little different because I feel like I'm hearing myself like 3 times louder than I normally do. It could easily just be the settings, but it is the settings, John, because what else would it be other than that? So, but yeah, oh my God. So I feel like I just woke up. I do. I kind of did just what, the one thing that annoys the hell out of me. So I've been listening to a lot of Dogman videos, like Dogman, Bigfoot, alien videos. It's always, I like listening to this stuff because I always am hoping that there's a glimpse of hope from me that I'm going to listen to one of these stories and it's not going to sound like absolute horseshit. And I'm going to actually be able to be like, oh, that might have actually happened. There's actually some sort of actual evidence, or it feels like there's some the story actually has some sort of legs to it, that there's some credibility, because nothing's funnier and it's like you're listening to one of these stories like 20 minutes into it, right? You're 20 minutes in, you're like, okay, the story's so far not that bad. It's like, it's about a guy, he worked at this place, he just moved because he just moved. Now he's working on this new job, and this job's like kind of like slightly more on your own, and you have a company car, you're driving one place from another, and in the middle of the night there's some alien or there's some craft, boom, blah blah blah, you see it. And there's always moments, there's like 2 things for me. There's always then I saw it, and it was kind of like this, it was kind of like a square, and then it was like, and then I saw the creature, and it was kind of like had like these legs, and then there's these, it had arms, and there was this sort of like smell to it, and it's like, no, it's like it did have these legs. It had, what kind of legs did it have? And then it sort of had a smell. Like, no, it had a smell. Well, it's the smell. You can just describe it. It's like you're trying to describe something without knowing what you're describing. It's one of those little things in writing where it's so obvious sometimes when you're listening to a story. Nothing annoys me more than when you're listening to a story and you can there's not enough detail here to hold this merit to, why are you building this up? You're building this up to nothing. There's nothing to this. Much like this podcast, it's 29 minutes and nothing. It's basically what this is. So it's so funny. I got a comment on my Facebook this week, and it was like, they're like, you need to have me on your podcast. Then immediately once they said that, they immediately then trashed my podcast, saying that it sucked, and they stopped watching after a minute 12 seconds. I'm like, which makes sense. I don't blame you. I'm not upset by you by that, but I'm just like, why are you talking then if that's what you're gonna do? You're gonna want to be on it, and then you immediately want to talk shit on it. And it's so funny. It's like these. I tell everyone, you should do a podcast. Everyone should do a podcast, because why not? Because I'm like, yeah, go ahead and start it. Go ahead and start something, because I know you're not going to be able to finish it. I doubt you're going to be able to get to 180 episodes. I doubt you're going to get to 8 episodes. So, please do it. And what always blows me away, are the people who do start the podcast and they actually are like, oh, and they actually stick to it, which is about, I've known, maybe no joke, probably 80 people who've started a podcast, and besides myself, there's been 2 people, myself and 2 other people, that have actually gone past 8 episodes. So it just doesn't happen. Because people just don't care. It's just, it's so. What I don't understand is like, why would you want to buy all this equipment? Why would you want to take out all this time and effort to do a podcast or two, and then you just stop doing it? And then like, what's so funny is like, it's these people that are. I don't know how I get on this goddamn subject from aliens, but what's so funny is that these are the same people who are like, yeah, my whole dream's always been to be on TV, to be a personality, to have like my own show. It's like, you dumb shit. Like, you can have your own show. You just don't want to do it. You don't want this. You just want the fucking attention. You just want the goddamn attention. It's the same thing with the people who, when they just start yelling at you and they're talking about how like, like, I'm one of these bad bitches. I'm one of these mad motherfuckers. I do this, I do that, I do this, I do that. And they're just driving in their car or they're just sitting in their car. It's like, no, if you're really a baddie, like you keep fucking say you are, what you're going to do is you should get like, a microphone, a camera, some lights, and then like a normal person fucking scream into the microphone and get attention that way. Get it that way. It's just, oh God, it's like, I had a job interview, and it was for a church, and I didn't get the job. Which, are you shocked? I'm not shocked, because it's like I'm fucking Jewish, dude. And then two, it's that like, oh my God. So like the interview opened up with like, well, hey, thank you for being here. Let's start with a prayer. And I'm like, okay. And then they're like, how are you doing? I'm doing great. And the second question was like, when was it when you accepted Jesus Christ as your Savior? And I think when I lost him was the fact when I was like, yeah, well, my mom is Jewish. And then it's like, oh, and I'm adopted. And it's like, they asked me like, when was the moment I accepted Jesus Christ as my Savior? And I'm like, I don't fucking know, because it's not like I don't not agree. I don't not believe in it. I believe he was a human. I just don't believe he was the fucking son of God. I don't think there's anybody that's son of God, because it's crazy. To me, it's a crazy concept. It's just the idea of like being like, yeah, guess what, everyone? I'm the dude. I'm the guy that you have to follow. And if you don't accept me as your savior, then you just can't get to heaven. You can't get to God. You can't get any of that stuff. So, sorry. It's just how it is. That's how it works. It's like, to me, it's just a bonkers way of thinking. It's a bonkers way of being. Oh my God. So, I don't know. So I hope you guys are doing well. I really wanted to do this really nice thing. So I've been doing this podcast for 180 episodes, right? And I'm like, John, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting kind of bored in the sense of like just getting here and just talking. It's like, John, what you need to start doing. So what I need to start doing this. So it's all about like thinking it. Once you think it, start putting it into action. So this whole next week is going to be a completely new format. This will be the last episode of like this old format, which is whatever. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I just woke up from a nap. Have you like done that? You're like, oh, I'm going to take like a 20-minute nap, and you wake up like an hour and a half later, like, that was a waste of time. Why did I do that to myself? Like, Jesus Christ, John, like, God damn it. Yeah, been doing a lot of stretching lately, and what's so funny is that, I don't know, I just brought it up to somebody. I was like, yeah, dude, I've been doing a lot of stretching. Like, even I can just feel it in how my hips feel a lot looser now. And now my phone just sends me all these ads. Well, it's so funny because it goes through like different, last week was all dog food stuff. And then it stopped because what I do is, see, a lot of people, I don't know, do you not know that you can hide advertisements? And what happens is when you hide an advertisement, all it does is like, oh, that's something you don't like right now, but you acknowledged it and you interacted with it. So then it goes into a category. So whenever you So whenever like there's those ads or anything like that, if you click on it or if you like do any sort of interacting with it, it goes into two categories. It goes into that category of like you interact with it or you didn't interact with it, what time you interact with it. Then it breaks down into like more of like what time within like the advertisement did you touched it and interacted with it, how long did you stay there. It's all these different other things. But what you have to do is if you hide it, it's still interacting with it. So what it does is it assumes that you're still going to want this, but you just don't want it right now because if do you want it? Oh my God. Because in truth, like if you really didn't want it, if you really didn't want it, you just would have scrolled by it. That is one of the ways this algorithm thinks. And so when you're doing this, what I am doing now, instead of hiding it, what I'm doing is I am leaving a comment straight towards this company. So last week was all these dog food stuff. So I would be like at dog food company, blah, 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 blah. And I'd be like, why did your dog food give my dog like massive diarrhea? Or I'd ask him like, hey, does anyone else? I would at that company. Then I'd ask the question like, hey, did anyone else's dog get massive diarrhea because of this dog food? And so then what happens is these companies eventually kick you out of their algorithm because they don't even want to fuck with you. So I did this for the longest of time with my gym. My gym used to send me surveys every other week about like, hey, how do we like our gym? How do you like our gym? And I'd always just never, ever do it. And the only comment I would put would be other. And I'd say, piss on me, beat me. It's from a podcast. This guy, he's like, hold me out, piss on me, beat me. You can live in my place rent free. All you gotta do is you gotta fuck me. You gotta beat me. You gotta piss on me. And then he gives like his address, his phone number. It's a whole thing. I used to be friends with the dude on Facebook. He defriended me. He went on a huge, like, I think he's slightly bipolar, and then he just made this huge video, like, just pissing on everyone, just getting mad. But it's like, you're the one that made the video about piss on me, beat me. But anyway, long story short, it kicks you out of these algorithms, and so I've been doing that. So then this week was all chiropractic video, like chiropractic, like advertisements and massage stuff. So I would just put like, I'd be like, why did I add this chiropractic thing? Like, why did you make me bend, touch my knees to my elbows and stuff like that? I just say random shit. And then you just, and then what happens is like they send you a message saying, hey, like we take these things real seriously, but then you get kicked out of the algorithm for them because you're not providing anything. But yeah, so with my gym, like I was saying, like my gym, that's where I was going. I'm like what wasn't there like a step before this? But yeah, I would just say like piss on me, beat me, and then they eventually wrote me back like, what can we do with this? We can't do anything with this survey. And the thing is like, if you just write something and submit it, the fact that you submitted it, they would give you like 50 points for. I have like 5,000 points for my gym. It's like a reward thing. Like if you clock in and stuff, you get a point if you go to the gym 10 times. This is what's so fucked up is that you only have to go to the gym 10 times and they like good job, human. You're not a fat fuck. Like you're actually doing stuff with your life. So like here's 10 points for just going to the gym this week or for going 10 times in a month. It's just like God. It's like Jesus Christ. It's hilarious. It's hilarious to me how the smallest of things is just looked at as such a huge accomplishment in the world of health in America right now. It blows me away because like I'll go like dude I go play golf for an hour and a half, 2 hours, then I go and I work out for 50 to an hour and 10 minutes, and then I finish all this out, and this is the same day. This is back to back to each other. And then I finished it out sitting in a hot sauna, sitting in a 200-degree sauna for 22 minutes, something like that. this like, and like to me that's a normal thing. Like I've went from when I started doing this, because normally what I do is every year during this time when it's like preseason camp, like training camp and all that stuff, I start doing 2-a-days. It's just my thing. It's my way of, like, because it's football season now. Like we're getting ready for football, and so I don't know. I just get super excited with football. I love football more than everything in this world. Like football gave me this right here, all this thing. Even though it's not much, football gave me it because I was decently athletic at it, and I had schools look at me. You know what the funniest thing in the world? I've probably talked about this before. I was like in the 8th grade, before 8th grade season, and the junior high coach, the middle school coach, he came up to me and said, John, like, you can be so good. You just got to get out of your way. If you just listen to me and allow me to, like, teach you to play football, like, there's no reason why you can't start as a freshman on varsity. Insane. I was never told anything like that before in my life, that I'm like, oh, I'm incredibly more talented than a lot of people. And like, I don't know if you know how it works, is like how it is for football, how they measure it, like how good you can go on and where you're going to play. So if you can start and then get like any kind of awards as a freshman, most likely you can play Division I football. If you then if you, in freshman year, if you are a freshman or sophomore and get all state, then most likely you can play Division I football. As a sophomore, you need to get at least an all conference and at least a honorable mention for all state to be able to be considered Division I. But then usually at that point you're the second to third tier, so you'd be Division I-A or Division I-AA or Division II. And then if you start your junior year and you're most likely going to play Division II, you'll be like a second string to a third or a Division III like starter, which is like Division III is worse than NAIA, which is like NAIA is they say it's the lowest of the barrel, but really in truth, like Division III I think is worse than it, because NAIA you still get scholarships, but these are like those private little small, have like 2,000 kids to their like university thing. Granted, like Duke has like what I think 5,000. What is Duke's attendance undergrad population? Yeah, like Duke is almost 7,000, 6,883. But let's just say 7,000 just to be so like that's not that many people versus like a Michigan State or a Florida State, a state school where there's 25, 30,000 students at a time. Because let's see what's UCLA. UCLA's undergrad population is like UCLA's undergrad population is, let's just say, like just over 32,000 students. So that's a significant difference between 7,000. But Duke is Division I, but it's in that realm. It's schools that small, most likely, but they're like not. They're like, Eastern Michigan at Toulouse, Panera Bread University. It's just these random little small schools that, it's so funny because those ones I got looked at by a lot of those schools when and I'm like, I don't want to play NAIA. I'm like, but I went to a couple of them because they don't count as your NCAA visits, because you have 5 of those. You can do 5 official visits for Division I, II, and III, because those are all. This is when I was in college. Now I don't know what it is because it's a fucking free for all. You get paid a lot more. You can get money. It's funny now. But how it worked for me, like I took 3 official visits. My official 3 were University of Hawaii. It was University of Hawaii, UTEP, University of Texas El Paso, and then St. Mary's in New York, I believe this was. Oh, I know that's what it was like, but the thing is, like, it was weird because that was a Division II school, but they were like hardcore. They were the ones that were like, dude, if you come here, we will just out of the gate, you'll have the first opportunity to become starting free safety. And I'm like, yeah, but you guys don't win. And so I'm like, I don't really want to go to a school that don't win. And I ended up going to South Dakota instead. But they were defending national champions in Division II the past 2 years. So I was like, might as well just do that. And then now they're a awful Division II school because they have no recruits, because it's a school that's in the middle of nowhere that no one wants to go to. But the reason why I went to it, because it's a lot bigger now. But the thing is that it was like on the cusp of becoming a very top tier, and then they got rid of everyone. They just got rid of all their coaches, just changed conferences, all that stuff, and then all went to hell in a handbasket. Man, these podcasts are all over the goddamn place. But I think that's the point. This is like not to compare myself to like Bill Burr or anything like that, but his podcasts are like that, just all over the fucking place. I'm just talking about the shit that I wrote down this week. Oh yeah. Oh man, I don't know why. What I'm starting to try to do is not get annoyed by as much stuff. It's okay to be like, yeah, it's kind of silly, that's kind of stupid, because the reason why it's okay to do that, because it's okay to have that opinion, but then you have to then dissect it and be like, why do you feel like that? You have to be able to like then ask yourself why. Something that has been annoying the hell out of me, for fucking years, is when it's people's birthday. Something I also realized too is that I have an accent, and of course you do, John. Everyone has an accent, but like when you live in the Midwest, you don't think you have an accent because it's usually the I guess that's the type of English that they teach in broadcasting school, because it seems to be the easiest way to understand. But what we do is the Midwest, like Missouri, is like candy, things like A. We stretch out A's, alligator, candy, alphabet. Like they're all, it's eh. And the thing is, it's just like Northern, because I guess technically it's the Midwest. So we're just north enough where, because, the state that touches Missouri from the north is Iowa, then Nebraska's over here, then it'd be South Dakota, North Dakota. So so like it's hilarious, and it's a straight shot, I-29. So it makes sense that accent would travel straight down south. Because when I lived in South Dakota, I used to like stretch out my A's all the time, and I think that's where I got it, and that's where I think it got really, because like bag, and then I say things like quiche, like this weed bowl is quiche, and people are like, what? I'm like, quiche, like it's I don't know. I always thought it was a cool word, so I was like, oh, I'm just gonna start using that one. Quiche. I haven't actually used that in a while, but I've always just, whenever because I don't really smoke pot for people, and so I'm not like, well, this bowl's quiche. But yeah, I used to use that all the time. Quota, but bag, candy. It's hilarious, because when I started saying now, every time when I say things that start with A or have A in it, I'm like, oh yeah, I do stretch it out. This is how it is. So, but yeah, like I said, we guys are doing well. It's almost 25 minutes into this podcast. I have 4 minutes left. We're slowly descending into the ending of this show. So if you haven't noticed, I got a haircut. It's not the haircut I wanted at all, at all, at all. Nothing's funnier than going to get a haircut, and this is what sucks. Like when you're in that limbo stage, because I had a barber for years, great barber, wonderful barber, and these are the one of the few things in life that you take advantage of. That you are able to, you find one, you're like, they're one in a million. They're barbers. There's a bunch of people that want to cut people's hair, but not everyone knows how to cut hair. That's the thing. And you find one, and it's a great relationship. You can talk to that person. You can sit there and not talk to that person, but every time you go there, they know exactly how they want, and you know the price, you know the tip. It's a great relationship. And then something usually happens where they get a new job, or you go back to that next time and they're not there, or sadly they end up like getting really good and they move to a bigger like market like Atlanta or New York or sometimes LA, and then you lose them, and then you have to go and you have to find a new one, and it can take years. It could take years to find another great barber that knows how to cut your hair, that knows you, that you can talk to or not talk to. And then what happens is that person fucking leaves your life too. And then you're on this fucking quest, and you've been on this quest for fucking ever, trying to find a goddamn barber. It's been solid 3 years now. I've been trying to find one, and just I can't. And what's so funny is though, there's those times when you go to somebody and you know it. You can smell it on them. You can smell it on them that you should not allow them to touch your head. Like, don't touch me. Don't. Because in any other circumstance, you would never be around that person. You wouldn't interact with them. You wouldn't talk to them. You wouldn't do any of that at all. But no, you're like, I need to get a haircut. But you're like, it's going to be easy, simple, no problem at all. And then you're like, it's your turn. You get up there, you sit down. Even their chair feels weird. It's like, I shouldn't be here. I should have waited for the next person. I should have just waited. Even if it meant I had to stay here for the next 25 minutes. I should have waited. You should wait. Take this advice. And then you show them a picture. Like, okay, you're like, hey, I just want this simple. And all I wanted, guys, was just this little part right here on the side down. It was almost like a faded mohawk. You could almost think of something like, but you didn't even have to do that good. You just had to just shorten it, blend it in. You could do a 1.5, blend it up to the rest of my hair, and you could have been done. Done. That's all I wanted, because I wear hats, but I just wanted to get the side of my hair, because my head looks fat as fuck if I let my side of my hair grow, because it poofs out, because it froze, because I have mixed hair, because I'm a mixed boy. And then you show them a picture, like, okay, and you show them the example, and you're like, simple, easy peasy. If you have any questions, we can go easy step by step. I'll walk you through it. No big deal. You say this to them. And then you can feel that they don't listen, or they didn't listen to a word you said at all. And then they cut your hair, and you're like, they just keep cutting more and more and more and more. And you've had this haircut before, and you realize it shouldn't take you this long to do this haircut. And then next thing you know, they wheel you back around because they've kept your head away from the mirror so you can't see yourself. And they pull you around, and then they're like, voila, look at, I butchered you. And really, technically, she didn't butcher me, but she didn't do what I wanted. But this is what's the problem. This is what happens when you live a life trying to find a new barber. You get unwanted haircuts. All right, guys. Well, I think that's the podcast. Yeah, I will talk to you later. Have a good night. Have a good day. This is a coral t-shirt. That was the color name, coral. I like colors. I hate a lot of shit, but I love colors on t-shirts and shoes. All right, I'll talk to you guys on the next episode. All right, bye.